Hello, Sagittarius. Happy birthday. This combination astrology forecast and card reading covers the period from November 21st, 2024 to December 21st, 2024. Throughout this reading, I will be referring to that period as Sagittarius season because that is when the sun will be passing through the astrological sign of Sagittarius. So let's get started with our first topic, which is love. Okay, so for you, Sagittarius, there's an interesting interplay going on during Sagittarius season. You will have the planet Mercury in your first house, and you will have the planet Jupiter in your seventh house. Now, the interesting thing here is that Mercury rules or controls the seventh house, while Jupiter rules or controls the first house. So what we have here is a situation in which Mercury and Jupiter will be in what they call mutual exchange. So they become closely related to each other. Now, what that has to do with love is that the seventh house is the house of committed partnerships and relationships. So because the ruler of your seventh house will be in your first house, which represents you, the individual, it suggests that this person, there will be a person, first of all, quite possibly, if there is not already one, because Mercury is retrograde, suggesting that there is a return. You could have someone coming back from your past. However, if there's already someone in the picture who you're already in an ongoing connection with, that's of a more committed or serious nature, this indicates that they will be perhaps spending more time with you, they will be communicating more with you, and they'll really be taking center stage in your life, or at least this idea of committed partnership will be taking center stage in your life during Sagittarius season. Now, as I mentioned, Mercury will be going retrograde in your first house, and this doesn't happen, actually, I think this happens fairly early. I believe it happens on November the 25th or thereabouts. So just a few days into Sagittarius season, this situation begins to develop, where, as I said, if you're not already involved with someone, you may in fact hear from an ex or some person who you had some sort of romantic interest in the past. They may come back from out of the blue, or it could be that you just suddenly start thinking about that person, thinking about that situation. If there's not a physical person who shows up for you, Sagittarius, it could be just, again, that you are thinking a lot about committed relationships and committed partnerships in general, and perhaps even reviewing your own relationship history. This is particularly important here, I think, because we also, let me rearrange this here. I just noticed I didn't have that quite like I wanted it. Okay, we also here have the planet Venus, which represents love and romance, leaving out of your second house and going into your third house. Now, the third house has to do, among other things, with your thinking and your mindset. So if the planet Venus is going to be passing through your third house, this means that your thoughts will be focused on matters of love and romance. And as I was just saying, we have that testimony with the placement of Mercury, its retrogradation, and its exchange with Jupiter in the seventh house. Now, regarding Jupiter, you may know that Jupiter is your ruling planet, Sagittarius. So it's very important for you, and it's very important to see what that planet is doing so that we can get a sense of maybe where your focus is and what you are up to in life. And as I said, since Jupiter actually has been in your seventh house for a while now, it will continue to be there. But the difference during Sagittarius season is that Mercury, the ruler of the seventh, will come to the first. And so that just really underscores this idea that committed partnership, love, is very likely to be a major focus for you during Sagittarius season. Another thing I wanted to mention here about the topic of love is that you will also have the planet Mars in your ninth house. Now, it's already going to be in your ninth house by the beginning of Sagittarius season, but it's going to stay there for the duration of Sagittarius season. And in fact, I believe it's going to go retrograde itself, which means the planet appears to turn around and start moving backwards from the vantage point of Earth. That's not actually what's happening in reality, but that's the appearance of things. And so in astrology, we look at that as having some sort of symbolic meaning of turning around, looking backwards, going back, reviewing, rethinking, redoing. And so you already heard me talking about Mercury retrograde and what that is likely to bring to your life during this time. In that same vein, Mars, which will go retrograde, may also be indicating that there's some sort of return of a romantic interest. I would say this is more like a love interest. I don't know if this person perhaps would qualify as an ex. Maybe it's someone you were just talking to or interested in the past, and perhaps suddenly during Sagittarius season they reappear. If they don't reappear, again, they're on your mind, it looks like. And it seems that you could be thinking a lot about this person and their place in your life, and maybe like what it all means, trying to understand the bigger picture, the greater purpose of that person and of that situation in your life, and in regard to your own personal growth and where you are going. Now, I say all of that because the planet Mars actually rules your fifth house, which represents love and romance. So let's see now if we can get any more information about your love life during Sagittarius season by some cards. So for Sagittarius, during Sagittarius season, what do they need to know, or what else I should say, do they need to know about their love life? Okay, so we have the Four of Hearts. We have the King of Clubs. We're all mad here. We have the Seven of Diamonds. The Nine of Clubs. And the Four of Diamonds. Let's see here, and at the bottom of the deck we have the Ace of Clubs. Okay, so again, and so I would say it looks like there's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm here for you during Sagittarius season regarding love. And there is a particular person showing up here, this King of Clubs. Now, this person is probably very dynamic, very self-assured, very creative, and probably very talented in some kind of way. They get a lot of attention. They may be significantly involved in arts or in business, and if they are in business, then they're like running the show, or there's a real entrepreneurial spirit here. But again, it's based on this person's skill set and creativity. Now, this person is probably very warm, very charismatic, and very attractive to a lot of people. But it seems here that they have captured your attention, and that they may be, I would have said coming towards you. Maybe they are the person that we were talking about in the astrology portion. But I see here resistance. So I think it's probably more accurate to say that if somehow this person does reappear in your life or show up more prominently, there's likely to be a sort of hanging back on their part. This is kind of interesting because it almost runs counter to the personality of the person I just described, and yet this person is perhaps in a once bitten, twice shy type of mindset here, and they don't want to get burned again, they don't want to get hurt, they don't want to waste time, etc. And so maybe they are taking things in a slower and more deliberate way with you, which may actually come across as being even maybe somewhat, I don't even want to say just resistant, but maybe even like openly, you may feel like this person is sort of openly pushing you away. It's a very strange dynamic here, but there's a sense like they do like you and they do want to get closer to you, and yet there's something holding them back. So if this person that we're talking about in the card portion is the same person as the one we were talking about in the astrology portion, it certainly suggests a rather complex and I dare say mixed situation. And it's actually reminding me of, I don't think it was, well actually it may be. I have a playlist that is devoted to Sagittarius readings, and if you go to my home page for my channel, you'll be able to find that under the playlist tab. And I think the last couple of readings I did for Sagittarius seem to speak to this same type of dynamic. It may be the same person, the same situation coming through. So if you want more details on all that, how the person feels and what's going on there, you can go back to that playlist and see what it is that I have to say in those readings. But for now, and for this particular reading, I will leave the love portion right here. And we're now going to move on to our next topic. So let me clear the deck here. Let's see. Okay, Sagittarius, so now let's move on to our next topic, which is money. So for you, during Sagittarius season, we have the planet Venus, we were just talking about, leaving your second house and going into your third house. I think that this changeover is happening in early December. I'm not looking at what's called an ephemeris right now, but I think that is roughly correct with the timing. So Venus, besides being representative of love and romance, is also representative to some extent of money. And Venus is going to be in your second house, which also represents money, during the first week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that, of Sagittarius season. So since the planet of Venus, which tends to represent good things, is going to be in your second house of money, and Venus represents money as well, it suggests that there's something good going on with regard to your finances. It could be that you have more money than usual, or that you are enjoying the money you have more than usual. But again, this will be changing over in early December when Venus moves out of the second house and into your third house. And this is where you may begin to think more about your money and where it's going and what it's doing and what you're doing with it. Perhaps there's more of a carefree attitude at the beginning of Sagittarius season, late November and the very earliest part of December. But that may change when Venus moves out of the second house. You might get a lot more thoughtful about money. Now, you will also have the planet Saturn in your 4th house. Now, this is relevant because Saturn rules that 2nd house in your chart that represents money, and so it is a type of indicator of things financial wherever it is in your chart. And it's actually been in your 4th house for some time now. I think it dipped out and then it came back in. Saturn periods, Saturn cycles, through an individual house or sign can last somewhere around 2 to 3 years. So this is a longer term cycle for you. But the interesting thing to note during Sagittarius season is that Saturn is going to stop going retrograde. Remember, we were talking about retrograde planets earlier with regard to Mercury and I think Mars. But now we see that Saturn is going to come out of the retrograde phase and start to move direct, which is to say, again, it stops, it turns around, and it starts moving forward, or that is the appearance of things from the vantage point of Earth. And symbolically, what that means is that there is some kind of change, there is some kind of shift wherein there's likely to be forward movement, quite literally. So with regard to your finances, because Saturn is in the 4th house, and the 4th house represents, among other things, savings, you may decide, hey, I think I need to put away some money, maybe for a rainy day, or maybe you want to save up money for some larger purchase. The 4th house also represents the home and the house, or houses. So you may be interested in purchasing some real estate, and you are trying to figure out what you're going to need financially to be able to do that. And so, again, your money is likely to be scrutinized by you and evaluated so that you can figure out how to plan ahead, how to save up if you need to, how to put it into some large purchase like a house. Or it could be that you're interested in renovations. Maybe you just decide, hey, there's something I've been wanting to do for a long time and I think I need to do it now. Maybe it's gotten to a point where it cannot be ignored any longer. So let's see what the cards have to add to all of that. So for Sagittarius, during Sagittarius season, what can they expect regarding money? Let's see. So, okay, I don't take reversals. Sorry about that. I always get annoyed when I'm holding the deck wrong. But anyway, this is I think this is wickedness. Okay, the wickedness card. And we have the support card. We have honors, presence, and the Star of the Woman. Let's see, at the bottom of the deck we have sickness or malady. Alrighty. So it seems that you are taking stock of your financial situation and you're figuring out what you need to do in order to achieve what you want to achieve. It seems that you may figure out that there's something wrong with the way you've been managing your finances and that needs to change. The good news is that Saturn is a very disciplined planet, and so it could be that you tighten your belt because you do want to achieve this goal, and you know that the way to do that is to spend less money and to be more frugal. These cards here are indicating that you're likely to get some kind of support here. I don't know if it's from a particular someone. This is coming through as a woman of feminine energy. It may not be literally a woman. It could be a male with feminine energy. But anyway, this is clearly indicating that there's a person here, and this person may be helping you out in some kind of way to achieve the financial goals that you have. The cards are indicating that despite the fact that something may be wrong, you may discover something wrong, you may already know that something is wrong, and that something wrong may simply be your own habits. You will still be able to get things back on track. Okay. So that is your money forecast, Sagittarius. Now, bear with me. We're going to move on to one final topic. Let me just change all of our scenery here. Let's see. All right. So Sagittarius, this third and final topic I want to take up with you here for Sagittarius season has to do with you. During Sagittarius season, the sun will be passing through your first house. Now, the sun represents you, your basic personality and tendencies and all of that, and it will be passing through your first house, which also represents you and your basic personality and your tendencies and all that. So here we get the underscoring of you. You know, this Sagittarius season, like all Sagittarius seasons, I should mention, is going to lead you to be more focused on you, and it's likely, now I know that sounds maybe contradictory because of what I was saying earlier. You can certainly, if you're a Sagittarius especially, focus on more than one thing at the same time, as I know that you know. So the other major focus, I should say, besides love, romance, relationships, etc., is going to be you. You are probably going to be feeling pretty good in your own skin. You're going to be in your element more. This season may give you the opportunity to, as it were, shine somewhere in your life, amongst your friends or your family or at work or out in the community, some kind of way. But it's just a feel-good time. And this time of year is just very Sagittarian, isn't it? So, so you will just be enjoying life, enjoying the opportunities and the things that are coming along and coming about. And at the same time, with Mercury being here, and we talked about that earlier, and going into retrograde motion, again, we get this sense that there's someone, or the concept of someone, coming to the fore and becoming rather important during Sagittarius season. Now, what that means for you, though, is that it kind of makes you think more about yourself. Sometimes people, or I should say oftentimes people in our lives, in a sense, hold up a mirror to us to help us to see ourselves more clearly. And in that sense, the question becomes not so much, why is that person acting like that towards me or treating me that way? But instead becomes, why am I tolerating that behavior? Or what am I doing, if anything, to encourage this person to behave that way? What signal, consciously or unconsciously, may I have sent out to this person to make them think that their behavior is desirable or somehow okay? So this is going to be a time, Sagittarius, for you to analyze yourself, take stock of yourself. So it's interesting because this makes me feel that really the way all of this hangs together for you during Sagittarius season regarding what we're talking about now and money and love is that it's going to be an introspective type of time. It's going to be a time during which you are really thoughtful about various aspects of your life and various aspects of your own personality and what fruit you bear because of those things. So let's see, Sagittarius, is there anything else that the cards would like to add to that message for you during Sagittarius season? Is there anything else that Sagittarius needs to know about Sagittarius season? Okay, let's see. We have the moon, the side, the heart, the ring, and the key. And at the bottom of the deck here we have the stork. So now this is interesting, Sagittarius, because it seems that the cards may be speaking. Well, apparently the cards wanted you to return, or they want us to return to the topic of love here, because that's what's coming through. It appears, Sagittarius, that the cards are indicating some sort of romantic involvement, and it looks pretty, well, not only, I would think, happy, but also perhaps unexpected, quite sudden. It could be that you enter into a romantic relationship you weren't expecting. It could be that this person who returns is the person. But yes, it seems that the cards simply have an important announcement for you that your life may very well be on the verge of changing rather significantly. Now, if you're already involved in a relationship, these cards speak to suddenly taking that relationship to the next level, whatever that is. If somehow you've already reached the highest level of romantic involvement, I'm not really sure other that what this would be indicating, other than that things take a sudden turn for the better. And again, the cards are really emphasizing the positivity of this sudden change. And yeah, okay. So I think I'm going to leave it all here, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, goodbye.